Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54. Authorities in Costa Rica telling NBC News that Warner accidentally drowned while swimming in the ocean on Sunday. Warner is best known for, of course, his Emmy-nominated role as Theo Huxtable, Cliff's son.
NBC News has just confirmed the unthinkable. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the beloved actor who brought Theo Huxtable to life on The Cosby Show, is gone. At just 54, he reportedly drowned in the ocean off Costa Rica, a tragic end that has left the world stunned and aching. He was the smile we grew up with, the heartbeat of a generation, the soul behind the awkward yet lovable Theo who made us laugh, cry, and feel seen. July 20th, 2025, now etched in heartbreak. What should have been a peaceful evening along Cockles Beach turned into a scene that no one can forget. His body was discovered face down, silent, still. But here's where it gets unsettling. This wasn't just a random moment of misfortune. The questions began piling up the moment the news broke. Why was he walking that beach alone? Why wasn't his security team with him? And why, just hours before his final swim, did he post a haunting message that read, "Sometimes silence screams the loudest"? Was this really an accident, or is there something far darker beneath the surface? Warner's mother released a heartbreaking statement that only deepened the mystery, saying she saw him in a dream that morning, smiling but tired. He told her, "Mom, I finally found peace." Those words have since echoed across social media, fueling speculation and grief in equal measure. Hollywood is shaken to its core. Phylicia Rashad, who played his mother on screen, broke down live on national television when the news reached her. Raven Simone and Keisha Knight Pulliam canceled all public appearances, unable to process the sudden loss. For fans worldwide, this wasn't just another celebrity tragedy. It felt like someone had stolen a piece of our own family. But as the tributes poured in, so did the whispers. Nothing about this felt right. Malcolm had no history of illness, no known enemies, and no sign he was in any danger. So how did a man who survived the ruthless machine of Hollywood end up drowning on a quiet beach with no one around? Witnesses say they saw him earlier that evening, walking barefoot along the shoreline, shoes in hand, sunglasses tucked into his shirt. He looked tired, not physically but emotionally drained, like a man who had been carrying far too much for far too long. Locals reported the riptides that day were unusually strong, even dangerous. 2 men were pulled under, but only one survived. Malcolm never resurfaced. For hours, rescuers searched the black waters. Helicopters circled. Divers scoured the depths. By morning, the Costa Rican Red Cross found him floating lifeless in the water. When they turned his body over, the world saw that face. The same familiar face that had been a part of our lives since 1984. The shockwaves spread instantly. Phones buzzed. Social feeds froze. People begged for confirmation that it was a hoax. This can't be real. Please tell me this isn't happening. But it was. Theo was gone. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was dead at just 54, leaving behind an eerie silence. And yet, as the grief settled, darker truths started to surface. A close friend revealed that in the weeks before his trip, Malcolm had been quietly battling inner turmoil. He'd been locked in heated disputes with a major production studio over creative control. He felt trapped in an industry that no longer valued him, and his private life, it was unraveling. Rumors of a long secret marriage on the brink of collapse added to his pain. He told one friend he felt invisible. Another claimed he spoke of needing space, of escaping the noise. And then there was his final Instagram post, a solitary ocean horizon beneath gray skies with the words, "Sometimes silence screams the loudest." At the time, it looked poetic. Now it feels like a farewell. His mother's emotional statement made it even more chilling. She told reporters she dreamt of her son that very morning. In the dream, he smiled at her, but his eyes were tired. He said, "Mom, I'm tired of being strong. I just wanted peace." Hours later, he was gone. Tributes flooded social media, but the most unforgettable moment came live on TV. Phylicia Rashad was mid-interview when a producer whispered the news into her earpiece. She froze. Then her face crumpled as tears streamed down her cheeks. "Not Malcolm, not my son," she whispered before breaking down completely. The interview was cut, and then came the leaks that shook everyone even harder. A source from his inner circle revealed an audio recording from what sounded like Malcolm's private diary. His voice, trembling, said, "I don't know who I am anymore. I keep smiling for the cameras, but inside I feel like a ghost. Everyone still sees Theo. They don't see me. They never did." The audio spread online, breaking the internet. Fans who once laughed at Theo's goofy one-liners now listened to his pain and sobbed. The day after his death, Costa Rican authorities found a handwritten letter folded and soaked beneath a towel near the shoreline. It was addressed to Mom, likely referring to his late mother, Pamela Warner, who passed in 2009. The letter read, I miss you, Mama. I miss your laugh, your eyes that saw straight through me. I'm tired. I feel invisible. Every time someone says, "You'll always be Theo," it feels like another chain tightening. I wish I could have been more than just a character. That letter shattered hearts across the world. Fans on TikTok and Instagram began reading it aloud while playing the Cosby Show intro theme in the background. The stark contrast between the cheerful music and the darkness of Malcolm's final words hit like a brick wall. Felicia Rashad later posted and then deleted a tearful video saying, "We didn't know. God forgive us. We didn't know. He always showed up, always gave his best. But I see now he was carrying something none of us could fix. He didn't just drown in that water. He'd been drowning in silence for years." As more cast members spoke out, a heartbreaking picture emerged. Malcolm was the one who always smiled, who paid crew members' bills when production stalled, who fought for young black creatives behind the scenes, but he never let anyone close enough to see his wounds. Keshia Knight Pulliam, who played his little sister Rudy, said she asked him just 2 months ago how he was coping with the renewed Cosby documentary attention. He just smiled and said, "I'm good, lil sis, it's all noise." But it wasn't noise to him, it was torment. He was reliving things we can't even imagine. And now I have to live with the fact that I didn't push harder. Behind all this tragedy was one undeniable truth. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was trapped in the shadow of a legacy he couldn't escape. Despite having no involvement in Bill Cosby's scandals, he carried the burden of it. He refused offers to write tell-all books or publicly condemn Cosby because he didn't want to destroy the memories millions of black families still held dear. He thought if he said the wrong thing, it would ruin the last piece of our childhoods, a family friend said. It was a weight no one should have carried. But just when fans thought they had processed the heartbreak, a chilling twist emerged that blew the entire story wide open. The second wave of shock came from a leaked preliminary report by Costa Rican authorities. It revealed bruises along Malcolm's ribcage and upper back, signs of a possible struggle. Though the official cause of death was listed as asphyxiation by submersion, the possibility of foul play could no longer be dismissed. Who was with him that morning? Why did fishermen report seeing a heated argument on the beach just 30 minutes before he disappeared? And why did Malcolm's passport and personal phone go missing for several hours after his death? The whispers grew louder, turning grief into suspicion. Soon, Darker justice for Malcolm began trending worldwide. Thousands demanded the U.S. State Department launch an independent investigation. Celebrities like Taraji P. Henson, Issa Rae, and Donald Glover released statements saying Malcolm's death felt wrong and didn't add up. What started as a tragedy was now a mystery unraveling in real time. Meanwhile, more haunting details emerged. Friends revealed Malcolm had been working on a deeply personal documentary about childhood trauma. In the weeks leading to his trip, he'd been watching old Cosby Show episodes and crying, grieving the little boy America never really knew. The morning he drowned, a cafe owner near Cockles Beach saw him sitting alone on the rocks for nearly 2 hours, staring at the ocean. He refused coffee, simply saying, "Not today." Hours later, he walked into the water. A tourist vlogging nearby accidentally captured Malcolm in his final moments. At first, it looked like he was just swimming, but then he began waving. Not a casual wave, but a desperate cry for help. By the time anyone realized it was too late, the waves swallowed him. But what's even more chilling is a voice note he recorded that same morning, never sent but recovered from his phone. His voice cracked as he said, "Ma, I just want you to know you gave me everything. I know the world never saw me past Theo, but you always did. If I don't make it back, just know I found peace out here. I really did." When that audio leaked, the internet collectively broke down. One comment summed it up. It feels like he knew, like he was saying goodbye. Tempest Bledsoe, who played his sister Vanessa, later revealed Malcolm had called her just a day before the trip. He told me, "If I go out, I want the ocean to carry me home." I thought he was just being poetic. Now I can't stop wondering if it was a warning. His final Instagram post hours before entering the water simply read, "Still healing, always." Tens of thousands of comments flooded in after his death. "You weren't just Theo, you were love. You were home. This hurts more than words." In New York, hundreds of fans gathered for a candlelight vigil outside NBC studios, where The Cosby Show was filmed decades ago. They held up candles, posters, and old DVDs. A little boy, no older than 10, stood clutching a sign that read, "Thank you, Theo, for showing me how to be a good big brother." His mother sobbed beside him. But perhaps the most gut-wrenching discovery came from a journal found in Malcolm's hotel room. Inside was a single page that read, "I spent my life performing happiness, pretending. But deep down, I just wanted silence. I wanted to be Malcolm, not Theo. I wanted to be held, not watched. If the ocean is where I find rest, maybe it's where I was always meant to return. Industry friends spoke of a man who gave everything and asked for nothing in return. Viola Davis, Taraji P., Henson, Anthony Anderson, and Jada Pinkett Smith all shared tributes filled with disbelief and heartbreak. But fans weren't just mourning an actor. They were mourning a part of their own childhoods, a face that represented stability, kindness, and resilience. And then came the most explosive revelation. A Costa Rican investigator, speaking anonymously, confirmed there were multiple inconsistencies in the case. Local fishermen swore they saw an unknown man arguing with Malcolm shortly before his disappearance. The man fled before police arrived. Malcolm's missing passport and phone were mysteriously found hours later in a location that had already been searched. Suddenly, whispers of conspiracy turned into demands for justice. Could someone have silenced Malcolm for what he knew? Or was it simply the weight of years of hidden pain finally pulling him under? The truth remains tangled in unanswered questions. But one thing is certain: Malcolm-Jamal Warner died carrying more pain than any one soul should ever endure. Now, millions are rewatching The Cosby Show not for nostalgia, but with tears in their eyes, hearing his voice in a devastating new light. You'll always be Theo. Once a sweet term of endearment now feels like a chain he begged to be free from. Maybe if we'd listened sooner, he'd still be here. As his body is prepared to return home to the US, there's talk of a national memorial at the Apollo Theater or Howard University, where he once delivered a legendary speech about pain and identity in Hollywood. But for now, only the waves remain, crashing endlessly against the shores of Cockles Beach, the same waves that carried him away. This wasn't just the loss of an actor. This was the loss of a symbol. Theo Huxtable wasn't just a TV character. He was the voice of every young black man struggling to find his place in a world that never truly sees him. Malcolm gave us that voice. He carried it with grace, power, and a hidden pain we never saw until it was too late. His final moments weren't filled with flashing cameras or red carpet glam. They were filled with silence, with water rising, with the final gasp of a man who gave the world everything and asked for so little. So now it's on us to honor him, to remember him, not with gossip, but with grace. Not with drama, but with dignity. Share this story. Let the world know who we just lost. Comment what Theo meant to you. Let this space become a shrine of memories. Let his story echo. If you believe the world needs to remember Malcolm-Jamal Warner's truth, not just his fame, but his final cry, then don't just scroll. Subscribe. Because this isn't the end. This is where we finally start telling his real story. Rest in power, Malcolm. We will never forget you.